In February of 2004, a 21-year-old nursing student named Maura Murray stepped out of her college life without warning. She packed a small collection of personal items and sent an email to her professors, saying she would be gone for a week. She wrote that there had been a death in the family, but there was no death, and no emergency, and nothing that explained why she suddenly needed to disappear. That single email was the first sign that something in Maura's world was quietly falling apart. Earlier that same day, Maura had a breakdown at her campus job. She received a phone call, and whatever was said to her shook her deeply. Her supervisor found her crying, escorted her back to her dorm, and Maura said only that she needed the rest of the night off. Within hours, she left campus and drove north. Maura started a long journey into New Hampshire, toward the White Mountains. It was winter, and the roads were cold and narrow, with snow collecting along the sides. She traveled more than 100 miles, passing small towns, silent forests, and stretches of road where no other cars appeared. Her destination was unknown. Just after 7 that night, her Saturn sedan crashed into a snowbank on Route 112. In the small town of Haverhill, the impact was not severe, but the front end was damaged, and the airbag had deployed. A nearby resident heard the crash, looked outside, and saw a young woman standing next to the vehicle. She told him that she had already called for help, even though no emergency call had been placed. He offered assistance. She declined, and he went back inside to call the police himself. This moment is the final confirmed sighting of Maura Murray. Police arrived less than 10 minutes after the neighbor's call. When the cruiser pulled up, the road was silent, the car was locked, and Maura was gone. No footprints led into the woods. None tracked down the road. The fresh snow should have recorded every step. Yet it showed nothing. Inside the car, officers found several of her belongings: clothes, toiletries, textbooks, a printed map of the White Mountains. These items suggested she planned to be away from school for several days. They also found an open box that had once held wine cooler bottles, a small stain from spilled alcohol, a cracked windshield, and the deployed airbag. There was no blood inside the vehicle, no obvious sign she had been injured, and no indicator that she had run from a medical emergency. But her phone was missing, her bank card was missing, and both have never been found. A witness said Maura had been standing near the car only minutes before police arrived, which meant she had a window of less than 10 minutes to disappear. Search dogs picked up her scent for a brief distance, moving down the road, before the trail suddenly stopped, as if she entered another vehicle, or simply vanished. This detail, the scent ending abruptly, became one of the most troubling clues in the case. As the night grew colder, search teams combed the area. Volunteers walked the snowy roadside. Officers searched on foot, and helicopters scanned the woods from above. Not a single trace of Maura was found. Her family arrived the next day, driving from Massachusetts, and began their own desperate search. They walked the same road, hung missing posters, and spoke to anyone who might have seen something. Days passed, and no answers came. Investigators began examining the days leading up to her disappearance. They discovered that Maura had been dealing with academic pressure and personal stress. They learned she had recently been involved in a minor accident with her father's car, which left her shaken. They found that she had searched online for directions to locations in the White Mountains, looked into lodging, and seemed to be planning a trip of some kind. Some believed she was overwhelmed and wanted a few days alone. Others believed she had arranged to meet someone. Still others suggested a darker possibility, that someone was watching her or following her and saw an opportunity after the crash. None of these theories explained how she vanished in minutes, with no footprints, no straggle, and no evidence. Investigators explored every possible scenario. They considered that a passing driver may have picked her up. They looked into the chance that she walked into the woods, became disoriented, and succumbed to the cold. They questioned whether someone may have taken her before anyone realized she was missing. Over the years, police reviewed the original evidence using improved technology, DNA testing, forensic updates, digital reconstruction of the crash. But none of these advancements produced new answers. There were reported sightings of a young woman walking along the dark road, but none were confirmed. There were tips about abandoned houses and suspicious vehicles, but every lead eventually collapsed. The case grew colder with each passing year. Her family continued to search and continued to hope, but the road where she vanished remained unchanged, quiet and haunting. It became one of the most discussed missing person cases in the country, not because of the number of clues, but because there were so few. 20 years later, the disappearance of Maura Murray remains one of the most unsettling mysteries in American true crime. Her car was found, her belongings were found, but Maura herself vanished without leaving a single confirmed trace. A young woman, standing beside a damaged car, on a winter road, surrounded by darkness, and then gone. Some believe she ran away intentionally, hoping to start a new life and leave everything behind. Some believe she was taken by someone who stopped at the scene, someone who saw a vulnerable moment and acted quickly. Some believe she walked into the woods, and the landscape concealed her, despite every search team, every volunteer, and every helicopter. But none of these theories have ever been proven. Her family continues to wait, continues to ask questions, and continues to hope for a breakthrough. The world still watches the case, still analyzes the clues, and still wonders what happened on that silent road. One question remains, and it echoes through every interview, every search, and every attempt to piece the story together. What happened to Maura Murray? If you want more cases like this, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. Share this video to help keep these cases alive, because every view, every voice, and every share brings us closer to the truth. Until next time, stay curious, stay aware, and remember, the truth is never as distant as it seems.